Alright, welcome back to MMG. So, we've been preparing for this moment for 2 months now. It's finally here. It's full-blown panic across at least the West now. Eventually, the Southern Hemisphere will be in panic because, as you know, the North and the South Hemispheres, they flip seasonally. So when it's the summer up in the north, it's winter down in the south. And now we do know that this thing does slow down from heat. You'd have to go to the other YouTuber who I post in the newsroom all the time. I can't say his name, right? Because they will nuke my channel if I even mention his name. But I forgot exactly what the temperatures are. I think it's like below 42 or something like that, and anything above 75, it starts slowing it down. But it still spreads. I mean, obviously, it's all over warm climates. I mean, if you were to put the equator is about right here, right? Well, people are still getting it, even in, around the equator region, which it's technically always summer there. It's always hot and dry. So it's not going to stop it. All right, so I couldn't help myself. I went to the store. I wanted to see it myself, right? I had my full PPEs on, and there was two other people who had masks on. One of them had like just a thin dusk mask, does nothing. The other person had a surgical mask, does nothing. And I have a P100. I think the P100 is the best. Even the N95, I mean, it cuts it down by like 80%, but probably not 100. But more than likely, it's because people don't wear eye protection, like goggles, like airtight goggles. Anyways, it was pretty dystopian, and I thought people would still like maybe giggle or laugh when they see me. No, they didn't. Not one person. And I felt bad. I mean, one of the workers there, grocery store stockers, winked at me like good job, you have a mask. Like, I felt bad because that person's probably more than likely going to get it. And there's old people in the store and idiots with their kids. A new article just came out today. Younger people do get it. If 50% of them are young, so yeah, you have a probably better chance of recovering, but they also end up in the ICU. So it's time to take this seriously. Now listen, guys, you don't realize how careful you have to be when you go out in public until you do it. So I sprayed everything down before I even put it in my car. I took it out of the bags in the cart, put it in the bin. I didn't touch anything. I had gloves, of course. I sprayed all the food down with Lysol, put it in the bin, put a lid on the bin, put it in the trunk. And then you sit down in the car and you're like, oh crap, if this thing's all over my clothes, is it all over the seat? Probably. So then you have to Lysol bomb the car afterwards, spray everything down. And then you take the food out, and then I bleached it down again with like bleach water solution and peroxide. And then your PPEs, you take them off, and then I put those in a separate smaller bin, sprayed them down, and I'm going to let them sit for like a week because I have more, because of course you need at least 5 sets probably of everything. And then, but before I even went into my house, I literally took off like all my clothes until I was in my underwear. before I went back inside the house, and then I took a shower because it just felt sick in the grocery store. Like, especially with the empty shelves and I went for things like milk and frozen vegetables, stuff like that. Uh, the longer life shelf stuff I bought that weeks ago, right? Although it's on back order and it hasn't arrived, and I ordered it over a month ago. Anyways, um, so panics here. Now the markets, they rallied 1,900 points Friday. That's because of the speech, the national emergency speech. And believe me, they timed these things, guys, and they did that on purpose right before the close so the market would rally from the lows, because it was looking like just a real weak dead cat bounce, and the market was just going to go lower, limit down next Monday, which I think it's going to happen anyways now, because, I mean, the level of concern in people's faces and the level of panic we just saw this weekend is unbelievable. By the way, I go to my Twitter. I mean, I've been posting, listen, like, the airports, they're starting to screen people, their temperatures, which doesn't stop anything, because you could catch it and then you don't have a fever for like a week or two. So, no point. But what it does do is it creates these long lines that last for like 8 hours, and people are just crowded in tight hallways, and they're cross-infecting each other. Not just that, everyone who went out to the stores, it was crowded. There was lines at the checkout. I mean, this probably spread it more than anything this weekend, the panic. And why did the panic happen? Because everyone downplayed it to the last minute. And you could hold, media, government, everyone, CDC, God, I don't want to say, all of the institutions in charge of managing this, you could hold them all accountable. And there's fights breaking out, soccer moms pulling each other's hair out. But listen, Kumo just called for martial law, and it's probably going to happen. The funny thing is I don't think people are going to react like they think they are. I mean, you could already see it in France. I mean, but they have been rioting for over a year because of austerity and whatnot. But look, I mean, people are getting their self-protection. Like, if you listened to me and did it then 2 months ago, you're golden. But if you were to try to go out and get anything like food, self-protection, all the things you need, right? Good luck. And you're risking yourself getting contaminated. And I guarantee all your friends and family are out there without masks and everything, contaminating themselves, or coworkers. And it sucks. I know. Even if you take all the right precautionary measures, but you have a job, you don't work from home, you're kind of screwed. And it's sad. So, yeah, I mean, look at this. It's unbelievable. Can you guys, since there's thousands of people who follow me and it's just me, and I'm not everywhere, I don't get all the best information. Can you guys find out if China's really gone back to work? Like, I really want to know. Because if they haven't, then you know what to expect where you live. This could last many months, who knows? And then the economy on top of it, right? So, but, Mnuchin, Kramer screaming for basically taking away all taxes and just printing money. Basically, Trump is doing MMT. He's doing MMT, literally, right now. He's at the beginning phases of it. During the speech, when I was listening to it, which was a good speech, It made you feel really, really good. They did a really good job at that. And the way they're gonna roll out testing, it sounds great. Well, is it gonna be that great? I probably give it some time. The problem is time's not on our side after this weekend, especially because it's gonna explode in numbers. The confirmed amount of people are gonna be confirmed. So the U.S. has 3,200 right now confirmed. I guarantee you it's. I mean, I don't know, guys. After this weekend, it could be 300,000. And then you know how this compounds, right? Every 3, 4, 5 days, something like that, it doubles. Well, then it'll be 1 million in like by next weekend. If you were to 10x this because they haven't been testing, which is exactly like the playbook out of China. It's exactly like the same playbook out of China. Just deny, spreads. They had their Chinese New Year, right? Well, we just had panic shopping, which was probably equivalent to that because everyone domestically is flying around and people are just, everyone at once went to the stores. Great job. Unbelievable. Europe is, Italy has 21,000. That's a lot. Italy's population is not that large. I mean, it's large, but it's not like the U.S., right? I mean, they're all heading towards 10,000. So in 2 weeks from now, they're going to have hundreds of thousands, 2 to 3 weeks from now. And that means total lockdown in Europe. And then Europe will be China. And then probably a week after, 5 days after Europe, the U.S. will be in the same boat. But although I think the West Coast and the East Coast, like New York and Cali and Washington, are going to be locked down first and then the rest of the nation. And that's just the reality of the situation. I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, let's take a look at the U.S. a little bit closer. It's just red dots everywhere. It's practically in every state. Yeah, it's everywhere. It's over. So, I don't want to say that cluster, you know, because these algos pick up what someone else says on their other channel, and then they flag your channel if you say the same thing. Look at Europe. Europe looks worse than the U.S. right now, so they're it's gonna be bad. In the UK, they literally, in Germany and the UK, they're like, well, everyone's pretty much going to get infected. We might as well let it burn through the population. I mean, I get it. There's no way to stop it at this point. But you do want to slow it down so your hospitals don't get overwhelmed and then just a bunch of people can't get any treatment and then they pass away at home, right? Well, I'm mad. I mean, the level of... This is why you cannot trust centralized authorities. They actually make things worse. Because if there weren't centralized authorities in media, guess what would happen? People would be able to tune into alternative media and people who actually bring you the truth, like, you know, all the people who have been for the past 2 months. And you know what people would do? They would prepare prior and they would self-quarantine and they would take all the precautions necessary. But that's not the world we live in. Hopefully, after this shit show and dumpster fire, maybe people will say to themselves, maybe I shouldn't trust any of the central authorities and people who spoon feed me information and lie and downplay and then cause hysteria and hype things up. I mean, maybe this is good for the long term, although we're going to pay a heavy price. Financially and life-wise. So, I think futures open in the next few hours. I think it's going to go limit down. That's what I think is going to happen. And they're going to have to do like unprecedented amount of money printing QE. Like 10 trillion, something like that. It's going to take something like that and buying stocks to stop it. Let's take a look at a little more of a new. Here's an article: 50% of ICU under 60 years old. Nobody was prepared for this. Nobody except for us and people who listen to me. I mean, and then there's other issues on top of all this, right? By the way, I mean, open. I have to say words carefully. Open porters and mass animals migrating from one region to another spreads stuff like this, and this will be the end of globalism. Should be. It should be. If we go back to, but it should be. The oil markets, I mean, they're just decimated, and there's an oil like embargo type war between the producers because they're all dying because they're all over leveraged in debt, and I mean some of them are running out, but the world demand is falling because people are going to be driving much less. We might see under $30 a barrel. So there's already bank runs in New York. Told you guys. And listen, I've gone to the banks. If you ask for anything more than like $3,000, they don't have it. Like you have to order it and wait like days for them to get the cash. And then if it's like 10 or more, like they take you, the bank manager takes you in the back. So what are you doing with all this cash? Like, fuck off. Like, I do whatever I want with it. Maybe I'm buying a used car. Like, well, what are you, an idiot? Like, maybe I run a business. Maybe, I mean, 10 grand is not that much. And then you get red flag. So Mnuchin said they will provide endless, unlimited liquidity, which is QE on steroids, MMT. We are already at the point of 2008 financial crisis levels. Yeah, they're just acting a little bit quicker with the money printing and QE, because if this bubble continues to pop, it's going to be like Mad Max. Like, there's going to be no money. Now, I get it. There's demand for dollars, and dollar did pop, but it's not going to last forever. Not as long as people think. Small businesses are going to get decimated. Brick and mortar small businesses, I feel bad. People make small businesses. They risk everything. They don't make money for years. They could barely keep their head above float. And then something like this comes along and they all just go out of business. And the strongest part of an economy is not the big corporations in the stock market. It's small business owners. And it's already admitted. Goldman Sachs just said we're in a recession, whatever. Like I could have, I told you guys that this is the black swan. It's going to put us in a recession and blow up the markets. Money markets are blowing up just like in 2008 again. I don't want to scare anyone, but we're probably at the point where we're probably just a few days away from Armageddon financial, like no money coming out of the banks, nothing. Like, so every nation is doing the same thing as the U.S. Slashing rates, doing QE. The FOMC will be this Tuesday. I wouldn't be surprised if they cut straight to zero at this point. But it's not going to do anything to stop the markets from falling. The only thing that'll do anything is them saying, all right, QE, and it's like 2 trillion this week, next week 2 trillion. Like, it's just going to keep going. And hopefully the gold market won't ignore that. $12 trillion margin call. The world was hit. All right. So the dollar is at the 98. I showed you guys it's going to trade in that range. Maybe that was for the private group. It'll trade in a range of like 94 handle. You know, give it some leeway. It's very volatile right now. Very volatile. And the 99.9, right? So this is a range. So if it breaks above 99, then the milkshake theory is still in effect. If it breaks below 94, then the dollar is going down. So that's pretty much it. Or this is what they're going to try to do. Keep it trading in this range forever. Or as long as humanly possible. For the dollar versus other fiat currencies. Gold was smashed Friday. I guess you could blame it on margin calls, but it was holding up extremely strongly compared to the rest of the market crashing. And I screwed up and I didn't take profits. And now I'm holding some bags, but that's all right. My short positions made me a ton, so I'm buying the dip. And I will buy these I will buy the all the way down. I don't care how low it goes. So it was holding very strong above 1600 for the first until like Thursday. Until that first half of Thursday. And then all of a sudden it just dumped. The second half of trading on Thursday and then Friday. Right now it's at 1516. It's on major support. It's on the 200-day moving average. It's bouncing off of that. And the spot price, the physical price, is not falling. Just like in 2008. Futures are falling, but the physical price is not falling. Now, the question is, are all of the leveraged margin holders, are they all washed out of the gold market already? Because the mining stocks have crashed. Like, some have crashed. The leveraged ones have crashed like 90%. I mean, how much more downside is there? There can be, I guess, a little bit more, but not much. So, I'm assuming once they announce QE again, which they probably will like Tuesday or Wednesday during the FOMC, maybe, just maybe, Wall Street is smart enough. Because they're pretty stupid, guys. But maybe they're just going to look around and say, wait, is this just money printing for forever? And they can't ever normalize rates or reduce the balance sheet. They're stuck printing money. Just maybe a light bulb will go on and they will go, yeah, I'm going to buy some gold and silver and mining stocks. Because they're super undervalued compared to the rest of the market still. All right? And that's what it's gonna take. Oh, by the way, Peter Schiff made a real awesome point. I was listening to Trump's speech, and he said, "Well, no more student loan payments and interest for the next few months as we get this thing under control. It's not fair." I mean, no one's gonna, you know, once they take away payments, they can't really start it back up again. Because, for one, people are going to spend that money because they're going to need to because of all the hoarding and the inflation that's about to arrive. And a lot of people are going to lose their jobs and they're just going to stop paying, even if they bring back the payments. Basically, he just wiped the student loan clean. He pretty much took Bernie Sanders' promise. Trump did, literally. Knowingly or unknowingly, I'm sure he knows. He's not that dumb. So there you go, guys. All the millennials, there you go. It's gone. Like, you probably won't have to worry about it because no one else. Because by the time, like, let's say a few months from now, I mean, we're in full blown recession. No one's gonna be making payments. So it's gone. It's pretty much, that's it. Poof. All right. That's it for now. I gotta go. Look. I mean, the big former trillion-dollar FANG stocks, they're still extremely high. We've got a long way down to go. Now, is the market gonna bounce higher? Okay, so we might go limit down Monday. Tuesday, Fed, FOMC, and then it might just do a reversal and go straight back up, and we'll get a higher rebound on the markets, right? It all depends on how much money they're gonna promise to print. So let's look at the Dow, since it's getting hit the hardest. So we might, guys, it's going to be volatile, super volatile. All the moving averages, they're about to do death crosses on the daily. TA-wise, death crosses. But a lot of times the price, it likes to trade into a death cross and then goes back down. And that might happen because they're going to do just massive money injections. So Monday, limit down maybe. And then Tuesday, they cut rates. Wednesday, QE infinity. And then something like this maybe. I don't know. And, if we all get shut in our homes, I'm seriously thinking about going to a friend's cabin, but there's really horrible internet out there. I mean, it's really out there. I'd be safe. But, if I get stuck home, at least I could trade. maybe change my life during the worst times ever. When there's blood in the streets and it's panic and hysteria and things are falling apart. If you're prepared like we are, because we've been preparing for 2 months, we can stay calm and work from home. And this is when the biggest wealth transfers and opportunities are made. So go to my website. Still at a huge discount, $120, should pay for itself. I'm not making promises. And we do research, talk about mining stocks, trading. You guys can watch me trade, learn. It's a great community. We even prep and talk about stuff like that. So join. And it's $10 a month. You'll get an email the next day inviting you to the private group. But first, when you sign up, you get a download. It's almost 300 pages. All right, and that information, I know it's outdated, but the fundamentals are still good. All you have to do is just keep up on the news. But we even have a news channel for the private members just for stocks and mining stocks mainly. I think that's it for now, guys. I'll make another video Monday or Tuesday. Definitely Tuesday. All right. By the way, if I helped you prepare for this and you're not, freaking out right now, and you could get you have hand sanitizer, gloves, masks, all the things you need to get through this, because everyone who didn't prepare is screwed. They're probably not going to get anything for who knows how long. Everything's on back order for months. If I helped you, smash them likes and leave a comment, anything. You could put a period. It helps my channel, and, I do what I can. I'm not always right, but I've been right about a lot of things, most things. I did not see the margin call coming on gold and the mining stocks. It's because gold did not fall all week while the market was crashing. It was a sign of strength. And then it just did literally the second half on Thursday and Friday. So it is what it is. Can't win them all. But the shorts worked out very well. And opportunities like this will arise. By the way, this might be the biggest dip buying opportunity for mining ETFs and mining stocks. I'm not saying it is because I'm not certain. I'm not sure. But it might be that awesome buying opportunity. I don't know yet. We have to see what gold does. Gold has to literally... I was going to end this video, but let's... Gold looks awesome on the 4 hourly. It's gonna rebound, I think. The key is it needs to take out the all-time high for these mining stocks to rally. I mean, they're gonna do a dead cat bounce, but for them to go to the moon, it literally has to do one of these. And it might. It might do it like starting Tuesday or Wednesday. And this is what I'm hoping for. If it does this, I'm going to be a very happy camper. Very happy person. Or that's the most bullish positive scenario. Okay. Or it might, it's kind of just a dead cat bounce. There's resistance around 1650. There's even resistance around 1600. So it might do one of these. I really hope it doesn't do one of these. That's actually the worst case scenario. It just keeps falling. The daily looks positive. I mean, oscillators are overextended to the downside. The weekly looks horrible. It looks bad. But it's, you know, it's volatile times, very volatile. So let's hope this support area holds. I do more in-depth analysis for the private group. I have to run somewhere right now. Okay. Let me zoom out on the weekly. It is the weekly. There is huge support at, I'm not saying it's going to 1400, but if it does, there's huge support around 1400, and there's support exactly where we are right now. Major support where the price of gold is right now, like 1500, 1530. So we're gonna see a bounce, if anything. I'm hoping everyone wakes up on Wall Street and realizes it's QE infinity. And it's going to the moon. Sound like. Alright, guys. Until next time.